So Dan, when you develop a thing like this, how do you start?
Well, we really at Incredible Technologies kind of we assess kind of the games that we need to make, and in the case of this game, I wanted to make a fun, bright, colorful game with a single feature, and it really revolved around giving the players a fun experience, kind of give them some laughter, an experience that's is probably different than any other game they've played. And then by doing that, I looked at other games we made previously, kind of saw a void in our lineup, and tried to fill the void with this game.
Yeah. How did you get into developing slot machine games?
Well, originally, we started off as a video game company that makes coin-operated games. Golden Tee Golf is really what we're best known for, and other coin-operated amusement games. And back in 2005, we decided to give casino games a shot, and we, along that time, developed an engine that drives the games, had our own cabinet, and just everything that goes into making a game: software, hardware, design. Pretty much everything is done in-house, and along the way now, 7 years later, we're getting some pretty good publicity, and a lot of games are out in the field now.
Yeah. How did you personally get into this business?
Well, originally I was always an artist growing up, so I have an art background, and I basically wanted to make video games. So I grew up south side of Chicago, and went to college in Nebraska, and came back and applied here at Incredible Technologies back in 2001, and was hired to work on Golden Tee Golf. And so I worked on Golden Tee Golf for about 5 years, and then once we started the gaming initiative, I was promoted to art director, and have been overseeing all of our games since the art on all of our games since then. And now recently, about a year and a half ago, was promoted to game designer, project manager. So
great. John, you get involved in the software development for this. What's the software development effort look like for a slot machine game?
Well, for the slot machine game, obviously most slot machine games are fairly similar. They have reels, they spin, they award winnings. So we at IT have developed a platform which supports most of the functions we would do in any game, and then the artists provide us with the template art, which allows the game to run. And then around that basic concept, we build special features. That may be a bonus game that this particular one has. It may be some free spins that the player gets, and special awards with some multipliers, special symbols on the screen, things like that. So we start from that base template, and then we just add whatever unique features the designer feels are going to be good, compelling in the game.
How big of an effort is that? How long does it take to develop a game? How many guys typically get involved in that?
Most of our teams are pretty small. We would have like one designer, like Dan, and one programmer, and an artist, possibly a second artist if they need a little bit more help. The development cycle seems to be, we can really make one of these almost start to finish in about 3 months. With the platform that we have, a lot of it comes kind of out of the box, so to speak, and then most of the time is spent on developing unique features and polishing the content as much as we can. Okay. And as we continue, as we go through a process, we will often try to determine how the game is going and make changes, possibly add new features if they seem appropriate.
Most slot machines games kind of involve heavy-duty mathematics somewhere along the line. How do you interface with that?
We have mathematicians on staff here as well, and they, once we have the idea for a game, they develop some reels for us. They develop the mathematics and the various probabilities. They provide us with a reel set that will pay out at certain percentages. If we have any special features, they would provide us with the math for how to select an appropriate value to use in appropriate time.
John, what kind of programming languages do you typically use for these games, and what's kind of the level of complexity there?
Mm-hmm. These games are written in Java. They are I would say not quite as complex as, say, a game you might see on a console for home, or certainly not even as complex as one of the coin-operated games like Golden Tee. As I said, with a platform, an engine essentially that is built for us, a fair number of the features we sort of get for free. They just are skinned from game to game. So for the programmer, the main challenge is usually trying to develop the unique features of the game and working with the artists and the designer to incorporate whatever animations, sounds, kind of bring all the pieces together. And then as well, we are able to send a build of the game to a cabinet, be able to test. We can obviously set up our own forced outcomes, as we call them, so we can test all the features of the game quickly. So,
Dan, as an artist working on one of these games, what's the toughest thing that you find yourself doing when you're developing one?
I would have to say, probably trying to figure out like what would excite the player the most. I think creating the art is not necessarily the hardest part of it, but really trying to capture an experience that a player would enjoy when they're out on a casino floor. It's really we want to have the players have a good time, maybe win some money, and come back to the game if they had a good experience, or even if they didn't, maybe there's a chance they feel like, oh, maybe next time when I play the game, I'll have I'll hit it big. So that's probably the biggest challenge, is trying to provide that entertainment to the player.
Gotcha.